If you're deep into OCS pricing analysis right now, and you're starting to feel like it's just too much to hold into your head right now, meaning the numbers, the people, the articles, the reviews, I want you to know that's completely normal. It's your first time of the case study, the pricing is enormous, and pulling it all together feels like mission impossible. Here's the thing, you don't need more content, you need clarity. You need a way to look at Sopa and instantly know what matters and why. I'm Justina from Practices Academy, and our lead OCS tutor, Nisha, has put together an analysis of 7 key issues that Sopa is facing at your pre-scene. Today, we are walking through 4 of them. Understand this, and you walk into the exam room knowing exactly what's going on in this business and how to talk about it with confidence. I'll hand over to Nisha right now. Let's get into it.
So without further delay, let's first of all look at SOPA at a glance. Now this was all covered. But the main items I want to highlight is, if you look at the company right now, what you need to understand is the company is continued by and run by its initial founders, Paolo and Sofia. So there is founder involvement. Now that should tell you something. That should give you certain bits and pieces of information relating to the business operations. Then you need to understand how many restaurants we have. So we have 6 restaurants in Tombo, the capital city. We have 1 in Catch, 1 in Salt, and 1 in Melton. So we have 9 currently, but the pre-scene also says we're starting our 10th one. What's the staff in each restaurant? We have approximately 32 members of staff in each restaurant. Our menus tend to be identical across our restaurant. What are our ingredients? What are our supply risks? So these are key parts of our operations within the company. Then if you look at our growth timeline, as a company, we are pretty new. If you really look at 2016 to 2026, we're just 10 years old. But we have already opened up 9 restaurants, and we're talking about opening our 10th restaurant. So this should highlight the aspect of what I would say is rapid expansion. We are talking about rapidly growing. We're talking about the company growing very fast. The question is, are we growing too fast? Is the growth too unsustainable? Could this excessive growth result in a corporate failure? Now we'll talk about all of this as we now touch on our key issues. So I think we're going to touch on 7 key issues. So the first is, let's think a little bit about SOPA's growth strategy and what are the risks of our current growth strategy. So we have our growth. Our growth is one of the key aspects. If you go through your pre-scene, you will realize. So we began with 1 restaurant in 2016, and now we have 9 restaurants when we talk about in 2025. We're planning opening our 10th restaurant in July this year. So that's just a few months away. And a potential 11th in Neelan. Then we're talking about a ghost kitchen. We're talking about having our own branded dips. And then we're talking about vertical farms. So if you really look at it, growth is really rapid. Growth is really rapid based on the pre-scene information. And this is a primary cause of corporate failure. Why? We're expanding way too fast beyond what we can take on. And SOPA typically shows some of the warning signs. Remember, if you're talking about opening our 10th restaurant, you need capital expenditure. Then since we're opening it mid-year, it would make our budget sort of invalid. Our budget will become a bit stale because now we have a 10th restaurant coming in the middle of a financial year. Then if you talk about international expansion, not just now within Zealand, but abroad, now you're having aspects such as cultural differences, unknown regulatory environment, potential currency exposure. And also, we don't know what the demand is like. We need to accurately forecast demand, and this might not always be easy. Then what about our other strategic proposals like the ghost kitchen, the branded dips, the vertical farm? Now, all of this will require capital, management attention, and operational change. So therefore, you can see the risk is we're doing too much, too fast. And in addition, it seems like currently we have a lot of our operations in control by our founders. Paolo and Sofia maintain tight control. But you can see as the company is growing, this is becoming more and more infeasible, or unfeasible, I would say. It's becoming more and more difficult. And what's really happening is there is a bit of a governance challenge. And delegation is becoming a must. If we are to continue to do well, we need to now think of delegating. We need to now think of having new members to support Paolo and Sofia. And Paolo and Sofia will not be able to micromanage everything. So that's the first key issue that we need to consider. One of the main issues. The second one is service quality and branding consistency. So you can see that from the reviews that were given in your pre-scene, this is an apparent issue. So if you look at reviews, some restaurants, the reviews show a very bad image, whereas in certain other restaurants, you see a bit of an inconsistent service quality. So it's hard to understand how we are doing. And also there is a pattern that the newly opened restaurants, such as Salt and Melton, have the worst reviews. So that's a classical indication that our growth might be too rapid. Our service quality may be dropping. Our brand consistency is not kept. And again, another reason for corporate failure. And the reasons for this poor customer reviews, as given in your pre-scene, is one is overwhelmed staff, understaffed. So during peak times, there is too little staff. Then food arriving cold, lukewarm. Again, maybe kitchen capacity issues, timing issues, not timing the exact time a dish should be out. Then not handling complaints well, even though a complaint is made, instead of handling it diligently, it's ignored. It's not handled in a warm, personal manner. So therefore, that inconsistency of service quality is also seen between restaurants due to various reasons. So again, this is mainly possibly due to the fact that Sofia is personally overseeing all 9 restaurants. Beyond 6 restaurants, this might not be possible, because at the end of the day, even though Sofia has a lot of experience, she's still a human. She has a limit. So delegate. So that's another area which your questions could appear in relation to letting go of control, in a sense, delegating. Because if we don't, we will see service quality dropping possibly even further. Next, we have supply chain vulnerability. So remember, your pre-scene talks about us using fresh ingredients. So we use fresh ingredients means definitely using fresh ingredients would mean we are not using frozen ingredients. We're not keeping too much of buffer stock. And our inventory cycle is also pretty short. But then if you look at some of our key supplies, for an example, fish, our credit terms, we have to pay within 15 days and we have only one supplier. Now, this can be a key supply chain related risk. Key risk, if we, for an example, can't get this supply, we lose this supplier, we're going to face a lot of problems. Similarly, with our dairy products, but we have a little better credit terms, but still can be a bit risky. Then we, of course, for our other supplies like fresh meat, eggs, we have more than one supplier, which is a good thing because we're not depending on just one supplier. Now, if you look at our supply chain aspects, this brings us to many areas that can be tested on the day of your exam. One is related to limiting factor. So if one supply is in shortfall, we might need to do a limiting factor analysis. For an example, if there's a shortage of fish, how do we do a limiting factor analysis? What about if some of our ingredients have to be written down due to spoilage? For an example, when the fresh fish came, they were spoiled due to maybe there was some issue with the refrigeration. Then the risk of depending on just one supplier can also be a question that you can be asked from an E1 point of view. The final aspect is diversification and new revenue streams. So this is again going back to the areas we discussed when it came to growth. So branded dips, again, a good avenue to diversify because it is related. It is related to the aspect of Latin American cuisine. Relevant areas would be inventory management, absorption. How should we cost it? Absorption versus marginal costing. But we need to look at risk, like what will be the demand? How could we sell it? Then if you look at the ghost kitchen concept, again, this is good because we currently do not have takeaways or deliveries, but this is an additional revenue stream, which is good. But we need to again look at the costing structure. We need to look at the cost of maintaining this ghost kitchen and what are the risks. So remember, when we talk about delivery, service quality becomes even harder to maintain because for an example, if you're thinking of delivering soups, maintaining the freshness, maintaining that the soup to be still hot is very difficult. So sometimes our ghost kitchen concepts might have to limit the amount of dishes we offer for delivery or even for pickup. So these are certain things to consider. Then if you look at our vertical farm, again, a good initiative, but cost, definitely something to consider. There's cost to set it up, and to also we'll have to recognize it in line with IAS 16. We'll have to depreciate it. So it's not easy to set it up, and also we need to have the necessary knowledge. So we might need to get experts. So it won't be easy, but definitely they are good avenues to diversify and to move further to get cost advantages.
So these are the 4 issues out of 7 that you need to understand for Sopa. Now, today's video was just a summary. Our full analysis covers 3 more issues that we didn't touch today. That is financial performance and working capital, people, culture, and HR at scale, and technology and innovation. And trust me, these are where a lot of students miss marks because these are the issues hiding in plain sight in your pre-scene. On top of that, the full analysis maps every issue to T1, F1, and E1, and it highlights all the specific exam triggers Nisha has identified from the pre-scene. That's the kind of detail that makes the difference between a good answer and a bad one on the exam. And all of that sits inside our OCS packages at Practice Test Academy. We've got 4 tiers that suit wherever you are in your preparation. Essential at £139 gets you started with mocks and revision content. Advanced at £199 adds marked practice tasks so that you get real feedback on your writing. Master at £259 is our most popular. That includes Nisha's full key issue analysis, marked mocks, and our past sitting review. And Ultimate at £379 gives you 3 one-to-one sessions with Nisha, weekly progress monitoring, and priority support. The full hands-on experience. Link in the description. Whatever you choose, we are here to help you pass this exam first time. Good luck with your revision, and I'll see you on the inside.